Hey, what's up, guys? I'm sitting here with Lucas from Martin Photography. He's absolutely crushing it. Hit over six figures last year. We met a little bit over a year ago, but we're gonna have a pretty awesome conversation right now. Lucas, how's it going today?
Good. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I kind of like to start these conversations just kind of asking how you got into the business that you're in. Just give us kind of like a quick run through about how you started it and sort of how's it going right now.
Sure. So I started when I was a freshman in high school. Originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and I had a realtor uncle who got me started and introduced me to kind of real estate photography. And it wasn't that big when I was a freshman. So I think I joined the market at a really good time and kind of just built my business over the 4 years of high school. And then when I moved to college down in Florida. Was that 2 years ago now? 2.5 years ago. Obviously, they had to hire some photographers in Cleveland, and now we're expanding more in Florida.
Nice.
So it's going pretty good, and just always keeping me on my toes and staying busy.
Yeah, awesome. So you started pretty young, dude. What was that like
Yeah,
starting as an entrepreneur, what, 15 years old?
yeah, 15.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
Um, I guess I wanted to do something different than working a traditional like fast food drive-through kind of thing that all my friends were doing.
Hmm.
Because I never wanted to be like a dishwasher or cleaning tables or anything like that.
Yeah.
And also, a lot of my family members run businesses or like big executives or some stuff like that. So I kind of like grew up that aspect of watching them do that kind of stuff, which intrigued me. So like my mom, she owns a barber shop. My dad does a lot of sales stuff. I have an uncle that just sold a ginormous company in Cleveland and all of that. So another one that's like a VP of a telecommunications company.
Yeah.
So just I think being around that when your entire family's based on business,
Yeah.
um, I think that's basically it.
When you jumped into real estate photography, would you have considered yourself a photographer at that point or more of an entrepreneur? Talk to me a little bit about that sort of how you would have considered yourself and then learning how to be the other one.
Probably more of a photographer because I had another uncle actually as well who at every family event he always had a camera on him.
Yeah.
So even like when he wasn't taking photos, I would always grab his camera and just play around with it and take photos. So
Yeah.
kind of learning from him. And then we would always travel as a family. So our family got a family camera, and I started learning from that. And then that's like the first camera I used for real estate photography, and I obviously got a wide angle lens for that, and started learning everything, and then saved money up for actual real estate photography camera. Um, but and then I think I got better and learned more about like running the business side of things because you can't run the business side of things, you're not really gonna be here for a long time,
100%,
um,
dude.
right? And actually make money out of it. So yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome. So when you first started, you said you just didn't really want to, work a drive-through like fast food job or so you started a business, which is pretty cool.
yeah.
What was your goal back then, right? What would be like a monthly revenue goal where you're like, if I hit this, that'd be pretty cool. Maybe not even monthly, maybe just total. What did that look like back then?
I think back then, because I didn't really have any bills, because I think I really started, it had to be when I got my first car, so probably around 16.
Yeah.
So it was probably, I think my car payment was like 200, maybe 250 bucks a month. So
Yeah.
probably just something to cover that. So I bet maybe like 300 bucks a month
Yeah.
just to do something like that. So maybe one or two shoots. And obviously I was doing a lot more. I was probably doing maybe five or six to start.
Yeah.
And then and then I landed a pretty big client who got me into like their whole brokerage. And I was doing maybe 10 to 15 a month just for them.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
crazy.
obviously all the referrals that came with that.
Yeah.
And
So now,
they're still one of our biggest
yeah,
clients to
you've
this
kept
day.
around this long. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and that was five or 6 years ago.
That's cool. So now, right, when you look at your goal of 2025, compare that to when you first started. What's the difference?
It's a lot different.
Yeah.
The number's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But obviously, I think I set really big goals for myself that are
Yeah.
um, not unachievable, but just they're always really hard to get to,
Yeah.
which is good. So I don't know, looking forward to this year, but just always trying to push harder. And I think from all our employees, I think I expect a lot from them,
Yeah.
and I'm always very hard on them, but I think they understand, and it's a place for success, and we want everyone just to do very well.
Yeah, 100%. When I look back on, when I talk to my business partner, I always say that we kind of grow like 5 years in 1 year. And like some of
Right.
those goals that you thought were huge, and then you live 5 months or 3 months, and you're like, I can't believe, and then you just keep growing so fast, especially in the beginning. What's something that happened, let's say, in the last 6 years as you started your business, right? 7 years, that you can kind of point to and go, whoa, that was a crazy change. Like that moment switched everything for me.
Um, I didn't think I'd be doing it this long. I kind of
Yeah.
planned to just kind of do it for a few years until I went to college and just that would kind of be it. And it just kind of, I would stop doing real estate photography
Yeah.
until it kind of got big. And I thought, well, you can kind of make pretty good money out of this, even if you're not doing it yourself.
Yeah.
You can pay other photographers to do it. Um, so I think having something like that, because my goal was, I think, just going to college for aviation, which I'm doing now. And I was like, well, I'm not going to have any time to run another business in college. But somehow I still find the time.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I was just shocked that I can do both.
100%, dude. I mean, we were having a conversation a few months ago. You're still building out an entire team. What is that like when you're looking to build out a team? What do you look for?
I think just really hardworking people that kind of have the same energy and like you don't want someone that just kind of wants a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks that just kind of wants
Yeah.
to just hang around. I want someone that kind of wants to see the company excel and grow and like bring new and like fresh ideas to like weekly meetings and all of that just to I don't know kind of like be there and another brain to like more ideas.
Yeah. I totally get that. I totally get that. When I talk about a lot of the business owners that I talk to, I kind of put people into three different groups. The first group are people who are grinders, right? They get lucky, they don't get lucky, they just put their head down and they go. And then they look up 5, 6, 7 years later, 6 months later, whatever it might be, and they're successful. Then I see people who are sort of more, I don't want to say lucky, but find themselves in a lot of awesome situations, right? They kind of bounce around and they talk to this person. I guess you could call them people social butterflies, right? They just always are talking to the right people. And then the final sort of group of people are really good decision makers. And I guess you can be a mix of all of them. How would you classify yourself out of those sort of three types of business owners?
I think it would be the first one and the last one because I think but I think when you start, it's the first one because you really have to put your name out there and work hard and make phone calls, emails, outreach to all of that stuff to be successful.
Yeah.
And then as you grow and like become more of managing and making the high level decisions, now you're looking at your long term goals and trying to decide what's going to be best for the long term goals of the company. Obviously the decisions when you first started were just going to affect you. Now the decisions are going to affect all the team members and their paychecks and making sure that everyone's still going to be able because they have families that they have to support and all of that.
Yeah. 100%.
So it's more
So,
of a risk. It's more of a risk now than it was 5, 6 years ago.
yeah, absolutely. How big is your team now? Starting from 15 years old, now how big of a team have you grown?
We have 5 photographers and then like 3 or 4 editors
Nice.
and then one operations person.
How important would you say customer service is?
I think very important because there's
Yeah.
always problems that come up every single day. And if you can't manage that, agents will be extremely frustrated at you
Yeah.
and leave you because there's always someone else that's calling them, asking them for their business.
Yeah,
So one thing that pisses them off, well, they'll go right to the next person.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think maybe there's sometimes when even when we have editors and the same stuff kind of happens over and over and over again, we kind of do the same thing where there's always other editors that are reaching out to us, and we'll give them an opportunity if something keeps on happening.
When you first started, how did you get your first 10 clients?
Uh, Probably phone calls, just reaching out constantly, and then like going into brokerages and giving like presentations. You froze. I don't know if you're still
I
there.
think you cut out there for a second. You still there, Lucas? You there? Sorry, I
Can you
think you
hear?
cut out for a second.
Okay, I'm back. Um,
Okay.
and then going into brokerages and giving presentations, but now it's a little bit more difficult now just because I'm kind of virtual, so it's kind of more virtual presentations,
Yeah.
or having someone else on our team give the presentation.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I mean, you were telling me you're in Hawaii a couple of weeks ago. That's pretty cool. That's
yes,
how
yeah.
far you scaled. That's awesome. Okay, awesome. So, how I like to end these conversations is kind of maybe giving some pointers, right? Someone at your position, right? If you were starting over right now, would you do anything different from what you did do? What would you say was the most important lever you pulled when you were starting your business? Was it sort of the consistency of it? Was it the amount of outreach you did? Was it pricing? Was it customer service? What would you do now if you had to start from scratch again?
I think just constantly focus on give all your time to the business. I think for me, obviously I had to go to school, so it's hard, and I still go to school.
Yeah,
So it's really hard to give all your time to it. So like even right now, it's like I'm usually up by 5 in the morning, trying working, and then going to classes, and then in between classes, doing phone calls and meetings and all of that, and
yeah,
then coming home and doing homework, and then more work, and then so it's just I think giving as much time, and then especially on the weekends, just catching up. But I think just dedicating your time to client outreach. I think when you're first starting.
yeah. 100%, man. I couldn't agree more. Well, thank you, man. Thanks for coming on, talking. Anything else that, any plugs, anything that you want to get out there?
No, I think everything's been great, and just excited for this upcoming year.
Best of
Busy
luck, man.
seasons, yes, busy seasons right here.
Awesome. It was great chatting.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely.